And joining us now is Sheriff Thad Cleveland of Terrell County, Texas. Sheriff, great to have you as always. We'll talk about the chances of this law being implemented in just a moment. But first, I'm curious, based on your experience, do you believe if state and local police are granted the authority to arrest people suspected of entering the country illegally, it would make a significant impact on the crisis that's unfolding right now at our nation's border?
I certainly do. This isn't the first time that the state of Texas or our local law enforcement along the border have been engaged in assisting Border Patrol. I mean, we've always had that partnership, and I'm talking about going back long before I became a Border Patrol agent. But look, we're in a different day and age now. The cartels continue to get stronger and bigger and more complex. It's time that law enforcement, we start sharing some of those authorities, complementing each other's patrols, and working together to secure America.
So let's talk about how this law could practically be enforced. Critics argue it's unconstitutional, authorizing police officers to make complex decisions about immigration law, and that it also leaves a significant amount of ambiguity when it comes to who may be targeted and why, as well as what happens next. What do you make of those arguments, Sheriff?
Look, I was actually a law instructor at the U.S. Border Patrol Academy, and for us to be able to get out and receive some training at the local level, and there's plenty of retired Border Patrols out there, that Border Patrol agents that can get out and assist, the state of Texas in training both the state and local law enforcement agents. But I don't think that's going to be a heavy lift. And as I pointed out before, people get mixed up or get twisted around that we're going to be stereotyping Mexicans from Mexico crossing the border. But as I've said, it's no longer the U.S.-Mexico border. This is the U.S. world border. Every country in the world is exploiting our southern border with Mexico to make illegal entry in the United States.
What's your prediction as to what will now happen moving forward with this legislation?
I had Michael Banks. He's Texas's border czar. He was out here with me yesterday. We went south down to the river to look at some of our infrastructure needs here in Terrell County. And we had a good discussion about SB4. And he's optimistic. I've always been optimistic that it's going to see its way through. Look, what Arizona tried 14 years ago that was shot down by Supreme Court 12 years ago. The governor's a smart man, and he and his team have really put a lot of effort into this, and I think we're going to see a go at it. And again, I can't stress enough, we're in a different day and age. It's time that we start, working together to protect America.
So if they do rule this law or parts of it are constitutional, what are you anticipating in terms of a timeline then for implementation?
And that's kind of the big question. Of course, the implementation, more so on the judicial side, the magistration side. Those in law enforcement, we're going to continue to go out and patrol our areas the way we do, protect our communities. And if we encounter a smuggling load or an illegal alien on the side of the road, we're going to do what we've always done. We're going to stop, pick them up, and then wait for Border Patrol to come out and determine alienage. But I've mentioned also before, my jail specifically, we can only hold 7 people. So there's going to be some funding needs as well that we'll have to work with the governor on and Border Czar Mike Banks. And I'm confident that we'll get, to a time where we can actually move forward and start enforcing this piece of law.
All right, Sheriff Thad Cleveland, always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend.